So I'm coming with this theory that allergies and intolerances, why are we having them, and why more so than ever are we having them now? I mean, 20, 30 years ago, you'd never hear someone like, sorry, I can't eat that, I can't do that, I can't have that, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna start posing the question, and maybe I'm the first of this, or maybe I'm not at all, but it's the first that I'm hearing of this because it's the thought I'm processing, is how related are allergies and intolerances to trauma? To me, when I think of allergy, I energetically feel your body going, I can't have this, push this away. This is not good for me. It doesn't agree with me. And I start to go, well, why is the body responding like that? Naturally, we should be in what I like to frame as the flow state. Everything just goes with the flow. Everything processes. Everything is fine. But if our body's starting to go like this, why? We have to ask ourselves why. Why have we created the belief system that this is not good for me? And so I'm starting to relate it to the concept of trauma. So could it have been, and I use a silly analogy, that maybe you were having breakfast while your parents had this really big fight, and that was the fight that caused the divorce, and you thought, well, maybe I played a part of that role, or maybe that moment was so traumatizing that anything related instinctually to that moment that arises through the senses might trigger you to go, no, I can't have that bowl of cornflakes because that was the day my parents broke up, right? And I'm starting to wonder as well, linking to the central nervous system. So if we are so flowing, we flow naturally until life starts to occur and we experience trauma. The body goes into a state of fight, flight, or freeze, whichever is your preferred choice, or whether you oscillate between all three or one or two, doesn't really matter. But your body, I just feel, is like this. And if we're like this, things cannot flow. Whether you want to call it your energy channels, your meridians, whatever term you'd like to give it, your body is not in a flow state. And as a result of that, things cannot process, things cannot digest properly, things cannot connect. And especially linking the neural pathways, the communication channels from the mind to the cellular aspects of the body. So whether it's your cells, whether it's your organs, whatever, but it cannot send communication messages. So that might be healing, that might be digestion, we're not really sure. Not in the sense we're not really sure, but in your respective individual case, what is the lack of flow? Sorry, the music's going on in the background. Let me move. So, what I'm trying to pose is the question, can we reverse allergies and intolerances? Because we get born, when I trained as a medical professional, it's said that, okay, allergies you're born with and it's irreversible. You're born with it and it is stuck for life. But intolerances can change over time depending on whether you diet and obviously eliminate them from your diet and then slowly reintroduce them in small portions. Is that possible? Well, I'm starting to think, yes, it is. I believe we can reverse allergies, we can reverse intolerances, but you have to provide the right framework, the right background, the right elements and conditions to facilitate that process, but in bite-sized packages, in bite-sized samples, maybe is the best way to phrase it, but I believe we can. And just even having that intention of saying, I want to reframe and alter my belief system, I think that's the start of it all, because you have seen that bloody phenomenal supernatural things can happen when you simply believe and you don't accept otherwise. You don't have doubt, you don't have fear, you don't have any limiting beliefs that brings your vibration low enough. So if we can start to reframe our minds and start to do that, then I think we can start changing things. So I don't believe I had any allergies and intolerances when I was young, because I used to eat a lot of different things. And since becoming a medical professional and having learned that, okay, I can't eat this, I can't eat that because a blood test tells me so, I started to avoid all of the things. And then I thought, well, we need to watch out what we're saying, the power of our word. Like, I can't eat this, I'm intolerant to this, I'm allergic, this makes me sick, this makes me unwell, this makes me feel bloated, this makes me feel tired, blah, blah, blah. So you're creating a spell, right? You're saying, okay, what I say is what will occur. So therefore I eat it, therefore I do become sick, therefore I do become tired, therefore I do become intolerant, I do blah, 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 right? So 1, intention. Let's reframe that we can change and we can release these. 2, power of our words. Catch yourself. Reframe. Don't say it. And don't even think in your head, you're like, oh, but I'm intolerant. Oh, don't say it. Don't even think that. And that will take some conditioning too, to reframe. And then start analyzing the conditions and the environment you're in that are not necessarily conducive to starting your journey of releasing these programs. So pick, okay, if that doesn't work, what can I do to frame it better? What can I do to heal it? What can I do to shape it? And then start experimenting. Like, that's what we are, is that we are in a trial and error way of life. What works for me may not work for you. So you got to figure out what works for your vehicle and then slowly start to do it. And it's process step by step at a time. So this is what I'm exploring at the moment. So I have a lot of on paper allergies and intolerances, and I don't want to live through that way of life. So what I'm doing is doing what I like to frame as Project Nurture, and starting to do exercises, therapies, surrounding myself with the right people, the right groups, putting myself in a happy state of mind with a happy mentality 24/7. And I can start to notice my nervous system that's normally like this is starting to ease. And then I'm eating foods that I would not normally eat due to on paper not being allowed. And I'm feeling great and I'm feeling good, because by also reintroducing full spectrum of foods back into your diet, you got to think, okay, I'm actually reintroducing back all different food groups, different vitamins that can be sourced from different foods, etc., etc. And actually now I find that I'm not as nutritionally deficient as before. Whereas when you're on a very limited diet, like some point that I have people that are eating just chicken, just salad, just shakes, just soups, just juicing, right? I don't know if that's complete. So through that, I'm posing that to you, and I'm really sorry for the music, but I didn't want to stop my flow. I'm going to hand it over to you with my thoughts, my ideas, and maybe how can you apply that in your life. Alrighty, have a good day. Bye.